we are. So, chapter 17. My spirit is broken, my days are cut short. The grave awaits me. Surely mockers surround me. My eyes must dwell on their hostility. So here his friends are having a conversation with him, and he says, surely mockers surround him. He is describing how he is viewing the relationship with his friends. They are mocking him, and he is dwelling in hostility. They came to comfort him, and while their mouths were shut, there might have been some comfort. Now that they've opened, they were simply mocking him for his declaration that he has done nothing wrong. Give me, O God, the pledge you demand. Who else put up security for me? You have closed their minds to understanding. Therefore, you will not let them triumph. If anyone denounces their friends for reward, the eyes of their children will fail. So he's saying, I'm not doing this because there's any value in me denouncing my friends. No, I'm denouncing them because they need it. They need it. That's what I need to do. Need to correct them. They're trying to correct me, and I'm needing to correct them. God has made me a byword to everyone. Okay, I don't know what that's implying there. So, Job 17:6. What is that? A byword. I'm not getting that. Meshal. Yeah, it just says byword. The only construct, strictly infinitive. Byword. What? Okay. I don't have to do this often, but let's look that up. Byword. A person or thing cited as notorious. Oh, okay. Outstanding example, embodied as something. Okay. Expression summarizing a thing's character. So, okay. I do not know that word. It's not that often that I come across a word I do not have any idea. I mean, I might get it wrong, but I usually don't have a word with no idea. I had no idea what a byword was. So it's made him notorious to everyone. Wow. Wow. Okay. Notorious is famous for a bad reason. So Job is becoming famous for a bad reason, and I think his declaration that's a bad reason is because of the way his friends are accusing him of having done something unrighteous. Therefore, his notoriety of the word spreading, hey, did you hear the calamity of Job? He's saying it's a notorious reason. People don't understand the truth. They're thinking I did bad, therefore I'm becoming famous because of, oh, wow, that is it. So God has made me notorious to everyone, a man in whose face people spit. Yeah, if you, well, pick your evil villain world leader of all time and say, boy, if you had the chance to spit in their face and they couldn't retaliate in any way, how many people would take that chance? Or opportunity, I should say. Yeah, many. Yeah, the book of Job, yeah, it is a good read. I think especially it's helpful when the world around us, whether it's our world or the entire world, seems like evil just triumphs. The book of Job is a good place to go. It's a great place to go. So we are just getting into it. So we've just got a few verses in, and Job is still defending himself against his friends. Well, that's okay, friend. You can come here anytime and see the trombone emotes. And hey, like I say, I didn't subscribe to any streams really for quite some time, and in the last month I was able to subscribe so I could get a few emotes. And yeah, maybe that's a thing to think about down the road, or perhaps at some point somebody will bless you with a sub, and you'll be able to use it for a while. So, but I appreciate you all being here, whether you sub or don't sub. I just want this to be a place where we look at God's Word and we encourage one another. And if that helps us through the day or through the next day or the week or wherever it is, if you're here live or you go back and watch it later, or you're one of the people watching outside of Twitch, hey, I am just glad that you're spending some time in God's Word today. So. Ukulele, you're so good. Thank you, friend, for the gift sub. I wasn't suggesting someone needed to do that now. I was just saying it could happen, but thank you, ukulele. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll just blow up the chat with some trombones here. All right. So let's jump back into Job then. Job was again defending himself against his friends for their accusations. So we're in the middle of his rebuttal, and he's talking about how God has made him notorious. I had to go look up this word, which I don't have to do often. I had to go look up byword. I just could not even go, what in the world is he talking about there? But he's saying, God's made me notorious. In other words, the reason that people know my name is because of the calamity that's happened to me. That's why they know the name Job, is because of all of my suffering. So, and when people had an opportunity, they would spit in my face. And I was just trying to think of who are the people that are notorious in the world, and if you had the chance, you would spit in their face. And I don't want anybody to put names in the chat, dead or alive, but just think about that. How would that feel to be on the receiving end of that people would have such disdain for you that they would have, if they had an opportunity, they would spit in your face. That's just got to be an awful feeling. The complete opposite of what I want in my chat. So everyone here should feel welcome and loved, and not surprised when somebody says, "Yeah, I'll give you a gift sub. I'll do that for you. I'll bless you, friend." So hey, thanks for demonstrating the opposite of what Job is feeling here. So let's continue with verse 7. My eyes have grown dim with grief. My whole frame is but a shadow. So he's wasting away. So if you were to say that, I mean, he's mourning and grieving. He's not eating and feasting, so his frame is a shadow. Who he used to be as a person is physically probably unrecognizable from who he was previously. The upright are appalled at this. The innocent are aroused against the ungodly. So oh, yeah, trombone. I think the difference is that most people would think of having intentionally caused massive harm to others, whereas this is not the same as Job. Correct. But what Job is trying to do is describe his circumstance, and I'm trying to relate it. How would that feel to be in Job's shoes? And I'm saying, I think there's the equivalent person who would have that feeling. Well, I guess if those people would have remorse for what they did and care about people spitting in their face, I guess there's more to that as well. But just trying to say, because sometimes it's hard to, I think, get into the shoes of a person that lived thousands of years ago and fully understand the grief and the suffering they're experiencing, because it's a different realm and world. And so that's what I was trying to help understand. But you're right. Most people that we would want to are for actual reasons, not for misinterpreted reasons. So, but here he continues that the upright are appalled at this. and the innocent are aroused against the ungodly. So there you're going. But this is horrible that people don't know the circumstance of Job and that they're treating him this way. That's appalling to me. Yeah, if we're righteous, we should be appalled at Job's friends. That's probably why I take a bit of delight in Job's rebuffs and direct attacks on his friends. I find some great delight in his defense of himself because I know his friends are wrong. So therefore, I'm delighting in Job's defense of himself and rebuff of them. So that's a little bit what I think 8 is trying to say there. Nevertheless, the righteous will uphold to their ways, and those with clean hands will grow stronger. So in the end, righteousness will prevail, and those of us who are pure will be able to keep clean hands and continue to get stronger. But come on, all of you, try again. See, here's this taunting guy. Oh, that was a nice try. Nice try. You had your chance. You said a few things. I discounted every single one of your helpful attacks on me, trying to correct me. Try again. Thank you. Come again. Oh. Ooh. And then, well, we're not even halfway through the book, so we know he does. Or they do. So, I will not find a wise man among you. See, this is what I was saying. I'm thoroughly enjoying this rebuff against his friends because I know his friends are wrong. So therefore, when Job is declaring this, I feel some vindication against those false accusations that come. So I am enjoying that aspect of it, while at the same time, I feel the sorrow when I think of Job's circumstance. So, my days have passed and my plans are shattered, yet the desires of my heart turn night into day. In the face of darkness, light is near. If the only home I hope for is the grave, if I spread out my bed in the realm of darkness, if I say to corruption, you are my father, to the worm, my mother or my sister, where then is my hope? Who can see any hope for me? Will it go down to the gates of death? Will it descend together into the dust? So, again, as he's looking at things, there's this glimmer of hope that he puts out there, that the desire of his heart is to turn night into day. In the face of darkness, light is near. So he's holding on to this hope, and then he switches back to the reality. But the reality is, I'm closer to death than I am restoration. And so then he casts that out in his thoughts there. Let's see. I was watching, it's just some guy says, I was just watching a documentary once. During the first bit, the cameras were riding with a cop. A call came in on the radio to look for a suspect wearing a black jacket. The cops see someone wearing a red and white jacket. They get out, handcuff them, and start calling them by the suspect's name. The person says, that's not me. The cop made them prove they weren't the suspect. I imagine that's a small part of the way Job feels. That very well could be. Yeah, that whole, this is a mistaken identity. I am not the person you're accusing me of. I'm innocent here. Yeah, I think there could be that. And then again, you could view it as the treatment that he's receiving is unjustified. And so that also would be a piece. Yeah, that's a pretty good comparison there, I would say. Yeah, so now he invited some more attacks against him. So now Bildad the Shuhite replies. So he's been listening to, I think it's Eliphaz and him share his time. He's like, all right, sit down, buddy. I got this. I'm going to take care of Job. I'm going to put him in his place. You did a good, valiant effort, but now it's my turn. I'm gonna get to this. So he says, when will you end these speeches? Be sensible, and then we can talk. Okay, in other words, so Job, zip it. Yeah, you're giving great long speeches, but we need to get down to brass tacks here. We need to talk about the reality of things. You're not getting it, Job. Why are we regarded as cattle and considered stupid in your sight? So getting right at him. You who tear yourself to pieces in your anger, is the earth to be abandoned for your sake, or must rocks be moved from their place? Job, what do you want from us? Job, come on. Buddy, come on. You're just a hothead here, Job. Oh, come on. What are we're really supposed to respond to you in your anger and bitterness? I mean, please. And you're thinking we're the ones wrong. We can clearly see it. You're the one who needs to look in the mirror, Job. The lamp of a wicked man is snuffed out. The flame of his fire stops burning. The light of his tent becomes dark. The lamp beside him goes out. The vigor of his step is weakened. His own schemes throw him down. His feet thrust him into a net. He wanders into its mesh. A trap seizes him by the heel. A snare holds him fast. And it keeps going, but I'm going to pause there. So he's just laying out a whole bunch of, here's some wisdom to lay on you, Job. A bunch of probably well-known sayings of the time that he's just spewing these things one after another of what would be common wisdom and truth and understanding. In a way, like, you know, a Christian could suddenly just spew off 12 different proof texts about money. You know, the money's the root of all evil. Oh, but taken out of context, because, you know, you forgot to say the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. You notice the few little keys there. Probably some similar things here we wouldn't catch could be going on, or it's just the piling on of it. One of the two, I think, is going here. But I did want to pause on this. A trap seizes him by the heel. We've been looking through Jacob wrestling with God, and I'm trying to think if it's Jacob that means the one that seizes, or the heel seizer. I'm trying to think what that is. But interesting connection there. I mean, not anything to do with anything related scripturally, but the fact that there's this image of a heel grabber that outside of scripture, who talks about grasping the heel? Remember, he's the second twin who grasped the heel, and actually, I think in one case there's the story of he put his hand out first, got a ribbon around it or whatever to mark him as the firstborn, then came in, his brother's born first, he comes out afterwards. But he's the heel grabber, and then he wrestles with God, or God, angel, whatever, the man, all night long, and he grasps his heel and won't let go. So just say there's some connectedness in the image here, not any kind of story-wise, but just that heel grabber, because I don't know where else heel grabbing is mentioned outside of Scripture. So anyway, he's laying down a whole list of all of these different images. Like, here's one, here's all these wisdom things I can lay on you, Job. You want to lay some wisdom? Let me lay some wisdom. I'm not stupid. So, yeah, a trap seizes him by the heel. A snare holds him fast. A noose is hidden for him on the ground. A trap lies on his path. Terrors startle him on every side and dog his every step. Calamity is hungry for him. Oh, what a great image there. Calamity is hungry for him. It kind of, in that imagery style, reminds me of sin is crouching at the door and its desire is for you. Sin takes on a personification as something seeking you out. Here, calamity is hungry for what? Oh, I'm calamity over here. I'm hungry. What could I eat? Oh, Job sounds good today. Need me a big old piece of Job. I need to get some more Job up in here. Disaster is ready for him when he falls. Ooh, I hope Job falls. I'm going to get him. It eats away parts of his skin. Death's firstborn devours his limbs. Now it's really getting into the description that's happening. If you remember, Job had boils, and he scraped the boils off. He's sitting there actual in sorrow. And we had Job describing himself, too, in a manner that would be thought of to be frail, or a skeleton, of his former self. So there's that as well. His friends acknowledging all of the calamity that's happening to him, the reality of things that are happening. So he is torn from the security of his tent and marched off to the king of terrors. Fire resides in his tent. I'm going to see, what is that? Or nothing he had remains. Okay. Nothing he had remains in his tent. Fire resides in his tent. Burning sulfur is scattered over his dwelling. Okay, that doesn't sound like a good thing. Does not sound like a good thing. His roots dry up below and his branches wither above. The memory of him persists. No, sorry, persists. I do this occasionally. I don't know if you have this problem. My brain fills in the second half of a word, even though I'm physically seeing the word, my brain says a different word, which is sometimes the complete opposite. The memory of him perishes, and I read persists. The memory of him perishes from the earth. He has no name in the land. Okay, so Job is, notice this combating. Job is making the declaration that God has made him notorious, and he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be well known. And his friend here is saying, yeah, your name's going to disappear, buddy. Nobody's going to know your name at all. They're not going to remember you. They're going to forget all about you. He has no name in the land. Yep. No one's going to remember Job in 10 years, 20 years, let alone 2,000, 3,000 years. No one's going to remember Job. Yeah, let me just put it to you this way, Bill Dab. I only remember your name when I pull out the book of Job and read your name. I don't remember your name otherwise. I remember Job all the time. So just, sorry, but I think you're wrong. So, and I might even got his name wrong. I'll have to go back and look. He is driven from light into the realm of darkness and is banished from the world. So he's kind of maybe perhaps agreeing, yeah, death is what's waiting you, buddy. He has no offspring or descendants among his people, no survivor where once he lived. Now this, oh man, this I'm going to say this is below the belt. He is pointing out Job's kids are all dead. Here you have a friend grieving and suffering, and what are you doing? You're rubbing salt in the wounds, reminding him, hey buddy, all your kids are dead. How, that means no one is going to live after you. No one's going to remember you. No, everyone's going to forget you because you were worthless, a worm, scum, and by the way, if you're not in sorrow enough, your kids are all dead. Remember that. Yeah, very good point there. Very good point. Yeah, it's interesting that he mentions that no one will remember Job, and Job doesn't say anything about wanting to be remembered. Yeah, very good point. I think this shows some of the arrogance his friends have, but I think it could be a response to the notorious. The I have become a byword. Now maybe there's the connotation in ancient times that would have been an ongoing thing. Like I would say, we think of Nebuchadnezzar in a notorious way, that he is well known because he was evil. So there's that. Or Pharaoh, when he persecutes during all the plagues, that Pharaoh becomes a notoriously known person. Those kinds of things. So when Job mentions that I've become that, he may be connecting with that, but that would be the only place I would agree. That would be the only place maybe that he said something that would make it sound like he wishes to be well known or remembered. But there could be more things within the original Hebrew that we don't pick up on in the English. Regardless, though, the insulting here is just below the belt, I'll say that. Yeah, those little details with these friends juxtaposed against what Job actually says is why I enjoy this book. So exactly. It is the banter of the back and forth that drives this forward. I need to go look and see if somebody's done this. My One of my favorite classes I had in undergrad was a philosophy class, in which what we primarily did was read through Plato's Republic at the very same time I was taking advanced level Western Civ classes where we were studying Sparta and Athens. Primarily, that was all we were doing for that class. And the connections my brain was making between what was happening in Plato's Republic and what was happening in actuality, between the difference between Sparta and Athens, I was just picking up immense things. But there is this banter that goes back and forth in Plato's Republic of the let me present you this, and then you make an argument, and then I tear down your argument, and back and forth of Plato's Republic. I wonder if anybody's ever made a comparison of Job and Plato's Republic. I need to go find that because I think I would enjoy that. I think that would be fun. Yeah. The Hebrew at times brings that out because you have words that sound like and words that are the same root, and you get this play in the Hebrew that is so clear that in English, yeah, it falls flat. It doesn't carry over. But we're almost finished here, so let's go ahead and finish. So yeah, his friend's hitting below the belt here. He has no offspring or descendants among his people, no survivor where he once lived. So nobody's going to remember you. Yeah, you got no kids to carry on your name either. People of the West are appalled at his fate. Those of the East are seized with horror. Surely such is the dwelling of an evil man, such is the place of one who does not know God. Boom. Job, all the evidence is you don't know God, or if you did, none of this would have happened to you. You're getting your just comeuppance. Now, what fascinates me is how could these friends have sat and comforted him for a week in silence and then say these things? Like, just think about that. If you visited, and pick anybody you want, visited, yeah, somebody you really love or somebody you don't like at all. Pick either one and think, could you do this? Could you sit with them and comfort them, as they're mourning and weeping for a week, and then stand up and say, time to get over it. You need to go back and live your life. You need to start over. And then say, the reason they're dead, it's all your fault. I can't even fathom the gall of doing such a thing. Yeah, exactly. They now are, oh, that's a great point. I want to tap off of that. His friends seem to forget about the type of person Job was before all this happened as well. Yeah, they are discounting all of that. And here's what I think they're doing, and we get caught up in that. His friends have shifted from comforting Job to winning the argument. His friend is concerned with winning the argument at any cost. Now think about this. Any argument you've had with a spouse, any argument you've had with a parent, and if you're older like me, that may have been a while ago, or any argument you have with your children, how many times are you willing to say things you shouldn't say or you regret later because you wanted to win the argument? That's what they're doing. They're trying to win the argument. They have stopped trying to comfort Job, and they are just trying to win the argument.